What's going on, everyone? Thammagotcha here, and in today's battles, we hit veteran with a team of Greedent, Walrein, and Alolan Ninetales. Hopping into the first match, we got Greedent into Machamp. This is obviously not the best matchup, so what I'm going to do is throw a Body Slam and hope they don't shield. Great, now I swap into my Alolan Ninetales, and they swap into a Sableye. So they must be really weak to Charm in the back, so I'm going to shield no matter what. It's just a foul play, which would have done not a lot of damage, but whatever. We got loaded energy for whatever comes in. Now you bring in a Lickitung. Okay, they definitely should have swapped that in, but we'll take it. We get off the first Weather Ball, and we get a shield. Awesome. We throw the second Weather Ball. Boom. Nice. Both shields. We bring back in the Greedent. Now it's time to Body Slam spam. And then they bring in the Machamp. We're gonna let this go. We can obviously come back in with the Alolan Ninetales, charm down. And I don't know what the heck happened there. Obviously some lag. And we're gonna save our shields for Walrein. Walrein comes in. We're not gonna shield this. And it's the Power Whip. Whatever. Walrein's a pretty tank. And we're going to definitely shield this one, but we're going to build up all the way to the Earthquake and throw the Earthquake just because we can, just to be safe. And that is a GG's, good fella. Hopping into the next match against Freak. I don't know. Obviously not the best matchup, but we can throw off some crunches here and hopefully get the debuff. They're doing counters, which is super effective against Greedent, but Greedent's pretty tanky, so I'm going to be able to get off 2 crunches, and that first crunch did a lot of damage. No debuff though, which is unfortunate. We tanked that Thunderbolt pretty easy. Second crunch, this is either going to get the shield or put them in the red, and it puts them nice in the red, but the bad part is we don't get to the Body Slam, and they counter down, but we sneak a Charm through, which is absolutely amazing, and they go down to the Charm. Then they bring in a Bastion, and I'm like, oh, and then a Walrein, and I'm like, double, oh no. I definitely should have just top left it because they have 2 shields, and there's just no way I'm gonna come out this match with a W. Even if we expend both of our shields on the Walrein, they still have 2 shields for the Earthquake, and they're doing super effective damage to my Walrein and the Alolan Ninetales. To top it all off, I'm running Charm on the Alolan Ninetales, so we're doing big resisted damage against that Steel-type Bastion. Well, I bring in the Alolan Ninetales and they quickly swap back into the Bastion. I get the Weather Ball off, but that just tickles the Bastion. If they're able to get to the Stone Edge here, which is probably going to take us out, GG's, good fella. GG's, good fella. That Bastion completely wrecked my team. Hopping in the next match here, we have Greedent into Medicham. This is okay. We're still pretty tanky, and then we're going to be able to spam out these Body Slams, which can get it pretty low for us to be able to bring in the Alolan Ninetales and Charm. They're going to throw a move here. I'm not going to shield this no matter what. And it's the Psychic, which is awesome because they just expended all that energy. Because if they were smart, they would have just thrown either Power Up Punch or Ice Punch. I'm guessing they're running Ice Punch. And then they bring in the Jellicent. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should build up some energy, but I should have just swapped faster. Therefore, I could have gotten to an Earthquake faster without having to take 2 Shadow Balls. But now it's either I shield here or go down, and I opt not to shield. So I didn't even get off a single move. I should have at least thrown the Icicle Spear, but I didn't. Thankfully, they don't shield here, and I just charm down. So now we have both shields, and they bring in the Medicham, and I'm like, okay, they must be weak in the back. And they have a Sableye. Whew. 2 shield Alolan Ninetales against a Sableye. We're taking this W. GG's, good fella. GG's. Hopping into the next match here, we got Greedent into Walrein. Now, this is a pretty neutral matchup. Even though we're doing super effective damage, and we get to spam out these Body Slams or crunches, they're able to spam out Icicle Spear, which does a decent amount of damage to the chunky Greedent. We get the defense drop too, which is awesome, and we're able to throw this, but they catch, I wasn't sure on which, on the Venusaur. So I'm like, okay, that's nice. Now we swap into our Walrein. We have to shield the Frenzy Plant because the Frenzy Plant is going to hurt a lot. But we're able to spam out these Icicle Spears, and with that damage we did with the Body Slam, that takes out the Venusaur. See you later. And they bring out their own Walrein. No reason to shield this. We can tank an Earthquake no easy and get to our own. Powder Snows are pretty resisted, and they get to another one, but pretty sure this is just an Icicle Spear, and we live. The tankiness of Walrein is awesome. Oh, but they catch on the freaking Nidoqueen. As soon as they did that, I'm like, oh, I should have thrown the Icicle Spear, maybe try to bait them, and that way I would have been able to get the 2 Icicle Spears, but this is just not good. They're doing super effective damage against my Alolan Ninetales, and they get the debuff here on the Poison Fangs, and they can just Poison Jab all the way down. Poison Jab my Walrein. GG's, good fella. GG's. Hopping into the next match here. Greedent into Walrein. We've seen this match before. We're going to go for the Crunch, see if we can get the debuff. We get the debuff again. Walrein with the debuff, and these Bullet Seeds are just going to start adding up and adding up. They get to 2 Icicle Spears. I'm going to let them both go, and they come in with, I think it's a Drapion. No, it's a Grimer. And I'm like, who the heck still uses Grimer in an open Great League? I mean, Grimer is okay in some other cups, like the Kanto Cup, Grimer would be okay in. But in the Open Great League, it's just not tanky enough, I don't think. And it can't spam out like Drapion does. You're better off using Drapion. And then they bring in the Sableye. And I'm like, this game is over. And they let the Icicle Spear go. Let's bring in the Greedent there so they can dump out some energy. And then we're gonna bring in the Charmer. 3 charms and that Sableye is gone. And I'm gonna shield this. I want to keep some health for whatever's in the back, and we can just charm down the Walrein. GG's, good fella. GG's. I went 3-5 in that set, and I was like, okay, are we gonna hit it? And 7 points off. We're very close, very close. Hopping in the next set of 5 here. Hypno versus Greedent. Now, this is okay considering we're going to be hitting super effective damage with crunches, but what I really have to worry about is the Focus Blast. So make sure we're counting, but we get the debuff and they swap out, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to swap out into my Alolan Ninetales because it has a pretty good matchup against Azumarill, because these charms are going to start shredding through, and we could throw Psyshock for some good chip damage as well, and they decide not to shield here, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to shield here so we can take switch advantage. And we just charm down the Azumarill to get a nice little energy lead to be able to throw, and something really weird happened there. I'm not too sure. It looked like they brought out a different Pokemon and just instantly swapped, maybe to try to catch the Weather Ball, but I don't know. So we bring back in the Greedent, we throw the Crunch, that takes him out, and it's a Nidoqueen in the back. Now this is a lot better, because now I have my Walrein up against the Nidoqueen, we're doing super effective damage. We have to get both shields here. And then Greedent's still pretty healthy in the back, this should be a good game. We gotta shield this, or else it's gonna take us out, because we have to get both shields. See, even with the super effective damage, Nidoqueen is still chunking those Poison Fangs and those Poison Jabs. Oh, it's ridiculous. Still has a pretty good matchup against a lot of things, but we're able to take him out with the Greedent, and that's a GG's, good fella. Hopping into the next match, we got Greedent into Deoxys. Now, we've seen this matchup before. We're just going to go straight Crunch. Hope for the debuff. Cross your fingers. Hey, look at that. We get the defense fall again. Woo! They get the Thunderbolt, and that did a little more damage than I thought it would, but we're able to get to this next Crunch. If they don't shield this, they go down. Alright, we'll take switch advantage here, and we don't get to the Body Slam again. We're going to bring in the Alolan Ninetales, and we're going to rip through with their defense ball, but they bring in a Walrein. So now I swap into my Walrein to take this Earthquake, because I'm thinking there might be another counter user in the back or something weak to Charm. So I'm going to shield this. Oh, and they bait me. I don't even know why I shielded. They got to that move so fast before I even got to my Earthquake. I should not have shielded that. That was just a bad shield on my play. And then they bring in the defense from Deoxys, and I'm thinking, okay, they might be weak to me in the back. And it's a Drapion. And I'm like, okay, we got a little bit of energy advantage. They have one shield. Let's see if we can charm this guy down. And we just keep charming and charming. We get to another Weather Ball. I think they're trying to build up to as much energy as they can, because they had to throw 2 moves to take me out. And then they'll have to throw another move at Walrein, but we're just able to Powder Snow down, and that's a GG's, good fella. Hopping into the next match here. Greedent into Deoxys. Again, so many Deoxys leads I found. So many. And even though they're doing super effective damage, we can hit back pretty hard with Crunch. No defense drop this time, which is unfortunate. But we were able to get to the second one. And this is probably a Thunderbolt. That does some decent damage. And they sneak a counter through, which is not good, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get to this Body Slam before I go down. So, again, we come in with the Alolan Ninetales to charm down. This is just a oh, it's a Thunderbolt. You know, Psycho Boost and Thunderbolt there, they both do pretty well the same damage. And they come in with a Galvantula, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Sorry, my language. I'm like, damn. Okay, so we get the Weather Ball off here. Hopefully get a shield. Yep, and we're going to swap instantly. And they swap instantly. And I think they get to their Earthquake before we do. But I shield it because I want to preserve some health on my Walrein, because I have to be able to throw another Earthquake and reach an Icicle Spear against the Galvantula to hopefully grab the last shield so I can charm down the Galvantula before it takes me out. And they swap, and I'm like, okay. And I throw the Icicle Spear, and I come in, and it's hopefully we can charm down, but they get to a move, which is awesome, because now their energy's dry, and I can just Powder Snow them down. And now we have an energy advantage for that Walrein. And I throw a little bit throw 2 or 3 more Powder Snows in, and we get this Icicle Spear off to take out the Walrein, and that's a GG's, good fella. Hopping into the next match. Greedent into Azumarill. Again, we're doing super effective with bullet seeds, and we can Body Slam, spam this guy like crazy. We get to, I think, almost 2 Body Slams before they get to 1 Play Rough. And we're both pretty tanky, but we outpace them significantly where Greedent actually takes this match, if they don't decide to shield. And I'll happily take switch advantage. Get to another Body Slam, and we just need to get to 1 more, and we do, before they even get to another Play Rough. And that takes out the Azumarill. And then they bring in an X-Cavalier, and I'm like, oh no. X-Cavalier kind of really destroys my backline. So what do? I come in, I don't even know what is happening here. I tried to choose the Alolan Ninetales, but it brings out my Walrein, and I'm like, I did not choose that. I wanted to bring in the Alolan Ninetales, come in, do some charm damage, swap into the Walrein, they take the charge move, get some Icicle Spear damage off. I grab it, whatever. I ended up grabbing a shield, and hopefully do some chip damage here, nice. And then they throw a move. I think, yeah, we let him go down, and I can just charm down. And then they bring in the Drapion, and I'm like, okay, 1 shield Drapion, he's definitely gonna outpace me before we charm him down. And the game just lags so much here. Like, oh, whatever. Love this game. Love this game. GG's, good fella. GG's. Hopping into the next match, another defense form Deoxys lead. And they swap out instantly into their Walrein. So I'm going to throw a Crunch here and swap into my own Oh, I stay in, sorry. I stay in. So now we're gonna build back up and swap. But I ended up swapping faster. So I built up a couple more bullet seeds and swapped. So now this Walrein mirror matchup, I catch the icicle spear. I'm gonna no shield this and then go for the earthquake here to take them out. I farm up a little bit more, so hopefully whatever comes in I can get the icicle spear off, and which we do, which is amazing. So we grab a shield advantage here. Come back in with the greeting. I'm gonna shield this. I no shield this because we still get to the body slam. I throw the body slam off, hoping that they no shield, which they do, swap instantly, and charm them down before they get to a move. Amazing. And now it's just charm against Deoxys here. So we throw the weather ball. They no shield that, which is not a good play by them. But 2 shielded Alolan Ninetales against the Deoxys, we take that. And that's a 4-1 to end the set of 5. So altogether I went 8-2, and we reach veteran. Well, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.